Now, let me say, at this stage of your life, you have more in common with our students who will walk across the stage in a few days to receive their diplomas than you might realize. What are those commonalities, you might ask? Well, the first commonality that you share with our soon-to-be graduates is a designation. I want you to picture a graduate standing on the edge of the stage, waiting to cross that stage and receive the diploma. Once they cross that stage, they're a graduate. But before they cross that stage, guess what they are? Seniors. Now, I know that many of you started your educational careers very early. And those 28 years have gone by. And I know you're still 5 or 6 years away from being able to get the senior ticket discount at Regal Cinemas. I know that. But for tonight, I'm going to bestow upon you the title of senior, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. And I can do that because I've been able to get that senior discount for about 5 years now. But the designation senior need not connote chronology alone. It also carries with it the idea of accomplishment, maturity, wisdom, experience, and integrity. Unless, of course, you are referring to a senior member of Congress. But that designation is an honor in and of itself, and you should be proud to reach this phase of your life. Be proud that you're a senior. Secondly, just like those students who will be graduating in a few days, you stand on the brink, facing a whole new world. Your new world may have alarm clocks that never need to be set. You can call in sick whenever you feel like it. Although that sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? You can travel, work in your garden, pursue your favorite hobbies with zeal, or perform that most honorable task of spending more time with family, particularly those wonderful grandchildren. But that new world awaits you with open arms, and I would advise you not to saunter into that world, but run headlong with vigor into it. Embrace it and have joy. Another commonality that you share with those soon-to-be high school graduates is that you have a list of achievements. Now, I'm not talking about an amount of money in terms of scholarships earned or an extremely high collective GPA, but many of you have a certificate of recognition or trophy or memento or championship or award, something that reflects career milestones and benchmarks that attest to what you have accomplished in your career. But the truth of the matter is this: your greatest achievements have faces. They are the countless number of students you have touched in your career. It doesn't matter if you teach or drive a bus or serve in an administrative or support capacity or provide specialized therapies. You have touched lives. I don't know how many of you remember the movie Mr. Holland's Opus. The title character in the film is a music teacher who feels that his true calling is that of a composer. He wants to write music as a vocation, but he has to pay the bills, and he has to take care of his family. So he takes what he thinks will be a temporary assignment as a music teacher / orchestra band director. And all the while, he is trying to write his signature musical composition, his opus, if you will. But the advertising poster for this movie displayed what Mr. Holland's opus really was. And I don't know if you remember that poster or not. But that opus was not the symphonic piece that he ultimately composed and conducted. His opus was the students whose lives he touched. The movie poster was a sea of faces, the faces of his students. Likewise, your crowning achievements in your career in Lexington One are the lives that you have touched. That sea of faces who look to you for guidance, who look to you as possibly the only positive role models that some of them ever had, who look to you for knowledge, for help, for hope. The thousands of students with whom you interacted are your opus. For you see, you, just like Mr. Holland, composed lives. Finally, you share in common with those who will be getting their diplomas in a few days the fact that you have a lot of questions at this stage of your life. Who am I really? What will the rest of my life really be like? And then maybe the most important question of all, what must I do to be successful in this phase of my life? And this is where the graduation speech punchline comes in, because this is the question that those who will be graduating and receiving their diplomas in a few days are asking themselves as well. I can't answer all those questions for you, but I'm going to try to answer that last one. What must I do to be successful in this phase of my life? But I'm not going to answer that question from my own wisdom, which is severely limited, but from the wisdom of two men whose mental capacity I could not even approach: Henry James and St. Paul. The great prolific author Henry James was asked by his nephew Willie back in 1902 what was most important in life. James responded by saying these words: 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. In his letter to the Ephesians, the Apostle Paul wrote these words that probably all of you can quote by memory, because most of you are from the South, and I know you learned this verse in Vacation Bible School. Paul said, "Be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you." This is the punchline. It's a simple graduation message. To be successful in the next phase of your life requires you to do what you have been doing all along in your career with students. It's what our graduating seniors, believe it or not, will need above all the skills they have learned and will continue to learn as they move through life. To be truly successful, I must simply be kind. It might not make me wealthy. It may not bring me great notoriety, but it will bring me a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment like nothing else. It also will ensure that I will be remembered by those who really count. For you see, that sea of faces, those students who form your individual opus, I promise you they're going to remember all the great academics that you taught them and all the life lessons that you model for them. They will remember those things. But I guarantee you this: your individual sea of faces, your composition, those students that you helped to compose, will remember you with love in their hearts and smiles on their faces, not because of what you taught them, but because in your wonderful careers, you cared for them and you were kind to them. So I've said all of the above to say this: as you graduate, as you go forward into this new phase of your life, continue being kind. It is the ultimate success. Thank you for what you have done for students. Thank you for being kind to them and showing them that you cared. And as you go forward, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warmly on your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, and may you continue your journey in kindness.